Good morning, class. Today we're going to discuss the physical self. Physical characteristics are the defining traits and features of one's body. And when you say physical self, this refers to the concrete dimension of the body. When we say concrete, they are tangible and they are observable. Example na lang, when I ask you to describe someone, ano yung una mong nakikita? It's the facial feature, the hairstyle, or maybe the clothes na they are wearing. Uh, these traits can easily be distinguished by your naked eye by simply looking at the person. In describing one's physical self, it starts always with self-understanding. So ano-ano nga daw ba yung iba't ibang definition ng self-understanding? So according to the dictionary, it's the knowledge and the understanding of one's own capabilities, character, feelings, or motivation. While for Santrock, ang sabi niya, it's about self-conception daw. Ano daw yung self-conception? Well, we observe a certain phenomenon and then we form schema or cognitive representation. And then this cognitive representation may be based on the tasks that we have to perform in the society. And then as we gather all this schema and processes, that's the time na nakakabuo tayo ng self-conception. When you say uh, self-conception, it's forming the true image of yourself. Kasi this true image is based on the picture na inilagay na natin doon sa utak natin. Uh, that is by fulfilling the social task na meron tayo, and that will define what kind of individual or person we are. Next is uh, growing up. So ano daw ba yung definition ng growing up, or what's the coverage of this period? So it's between 15 to 30 years old. So sabi ng Youth and Nation Building Act, between that age range daw, you're still considered young. And the physical changes that you undergo in this period are necessary and also same with the other adolescents all over the world. Uh, growing up is the stage na kung saan we are establishing the boundaries as teenagers who are already developing emotionally, physically, socially, and holistically, syempre. Uh, so it's also the stage na we crave for respect and privacy from the parents and also from the people around us. Kasi that privacy and space that we are craving for allows enough space for us to grow and develop. So for teenage years daw, we always need the support and the respect coming from our parents. Kasi medyo crucial itong stage na to. Next is the stand of Eric Erickson in terms of growing up. So he highlighted the importance of the body from the early development because the physical and also the intellectual skills are vital, and also they serve as the basis whether the person was able to achieve a certain sense of competence or they were able to manage a very complex task during the stages na meron sila. And also, if they were able to face and handle the different demands of life complexities. Babalik at babalik tayo sa stage ni Eric Erickson on the psychological self. Kasi nga, ito yung stage na kung saan very important siya pagdating sa pag-form ng identity natin. Or ito yung klase ng psychological aspect na very important pagdating sa ah, pagde-define ng personality natin sa ngayon. William James also considered that the body is an essential source of sensation and also necessary as being the origin and the maintenance of one's personality. There are three periods of adolescence. The first one is early adolescence. So that's 11 to 14 years old. For middle adolescence, it's 15 to 17 years old. And for the late adolescence, it's 18 to 21 years old. So, syempre, focus tayo sa puberty. And puberty is the period wherein there are rapid physical changes. So, sabi ni Santrock, it's not the same daw as adolescence. Kasi puberty ends prior to the end of the adolescent period. So puberty is more essential and the most essential marker of the beginning of adolescence. Uh, Puberty is the time when a boy or a girl becomes sexually mature. So what are the different changes na nararanasan natin? Well, syempre, there's breast development, there are hairs growing in your pubic area and also on your armpit. And there's the first menstrual flow na ang tawag natin ay menarche. For boys naman, na sabi nga natin, mas late ang development nila compared sa female. So for boys, they usually begin with the testicles and penis development. Also, there are hair growing in different areas such as pubic hair area and also in armpits. Lumalaki na din yung mga muscles nila, the deepening of voice, and also uh, there are facial hair as well. And they also experience spermarch or seminarch. So this is the first ejaculation or nocturnal emission that happens during wet dreams. So ang puberty, isa siyang tinatawag natin na brain neuroendocrine process. Syempre, in terms of development or growth, ang pinaka-responsible na hormones dyan ay ang tinatawag natin na endocrine gland. So, in puberty, there is a trigger or it triggers the rapid development physically, which occurs in the adolescent stage of every human development. And this endocrine gland is the one responsible for regulating all the functions, including na lang yung gonads. Yung gonads na to, ito yung ovaries for girls and testes for boys. So parehong may gonads yung babae at lalaki. Gonads are the sex glands that is responsible for secreting hormones that is being distributed all throughout the body through our bloodstream. So, may dalawa tayong hormones na palagi nating dapat tandaan. Actually, tatlo yan. Estrogen, which is the hormone responsible for girls, and androgen and testosterone for male. Pag sinabi natin na estrogen, ito yung reason bakit lumalapad yung mga balakang natin and also nagkakaroon tayo ng fatty tissues in the breast. While for male naman, yung testosterone at saka yung androgen, they are responsible for the growth of the facial and body hair as well as the development of the muscles and also the change in voice. So, yung changes natin, it's always classified into secondary and primary characteristics. So, when you say secondary sexual change, these are the physical changes that distinguish the boys from girls. While for primary sexual changes, these are changes in the reproductive organs that prepare both girls and also prepare the body for procreation. Yung primary characteristic kasi natin na yan, we will discuss it on the sexual self. Pag sinabing primary characteristic, it has something to do with the development of your sex organ. But when you say secondary characteristic, it starts with, or it starts on the onset of your puberty. Uh, the factors that affect perception of the physical self. Let's start with personal factors. So under personal factors, you have introspection and reflection. When you say introspection, it's how you observe yourself and how you examine one internal state. Um, it also talks about your behavior, 'di ba? Your personal reaction and also your own motivation. So, for many studies and research that were conducted, they said that introspection is limited because people are always commonly motivated to keep these unwanted thoughts and experiences out of memory and consciousness. So this mean daw that the people have lower self-insight on aspects of the self where they wish were not true, and many people tend to overestimate their positive aspects. So pag sa dating daw sa introspection, medyo underestimated yung process na yon. Kasi nga, for introspection, madalas, di ba, as we reflect on our personal traits and characteristics, we already filter it. So pag alam natin na yung isang characteristic na yun ay negative, not helpful, in your role in the society, then you always decide to just skip it. While for self-perception theory naman, this refers to the internal state, which is very difficult to interpret. And this inner state is by treating their internal behavior as their outside behavior. So, kung kanina introspection, you're just trying to understand what are your internal motivations. Dito naman sa self-perception na to, kung ano or kung papaano mo pine-preserve yung mga internal thoughts mo will define already how you behave from the outside. So, kung paano mo nakokontrol yung emotions mo, that will define how well you are in terms of the interaction. Pero when you say naman physical perception, it's your perception on the physical self. So how you observe it. So since we talk about personal or physical perception, we may already go to the self-concept. So ano daw yung self-concept na yun? It's your self-knowledge. It's the totality of your belief pertaining to yourself. So it's the collection of all the experiences, the characteristics, social roles, values, goals, and fears. So this talks about how you describe your physical self in terms of your physical appearance. So yung self-concept mo is non-negotiable in terms of your description kasi ikaw yung nakakakita niyan, ikaw yung nakakapag-analyze niyan, at ikaw yung nakakapag-interpret ng mga bagay-bagay na nakikita ng mga mata mo. So if for you, you are sexy, you are beautiful, kung ikaw ay uh, maayos naman at bagay yung pananamit mo, then it talks about your self-concept kasi paningin mo yan. While for personal identity naman, it is the concept of a person that has already developed over the years. So it's the concept of your life by which you were born into, like family, nationality, gender, physical traits, and also the choices that you make and what you do for a living. Kasi uh, when you talk about your personal identity, iba't ibang experiences na yung accumulated dyan. So, it's a matter of your self-concept developing all throughout the years. When you say naman attachment and social appraisal, this already talks about the social factor. So kanina yung apat na pinag-usapan natin, those are under personal factors. Now for social factors, we will talk about attachment process and also social appraisal. So when is learning on attachment process begins. So it begins during the time that we had our first encounter with our mothers or with our caregivers. Kasi that's the first time that we learn about care and also love and even how these people respond to our needs. And caregiving must always be consistent. And when you say it is consistent, the person will appropriately respond to your needs, 'di ba? As they will promote positive self-concept. So kung palagi ka daw inaalagaan ng mga caregivers mo, consistent na naibibigay yung needs mo, then there's a possibility that you will develop positive self-concept. While if it's the other way around, it's neglectful, they are unresponsive, then syempre nagkakaroon ka ng negative self-concept, 'di ba? While for letter B, it's maintaining, regulating, and expanding the self in interpersonal relationship. So the sense of self is continuously shaped through ongoing interaction with others or with significant relationship partners. So they act as private audience with whom people carry an integral dialogue. Oftentimes, these people are not aware that they are being influenced by this private audience. So the sense of self is continuously shaped, sabi nga natin, through the different interactions that we have with other people. And since it is being shaped, we know how to regulate our emotions. We know how to control. We know how to maintain. We know which emotions must be removed, which emotions must perpetuate. So, ganoon yung influence sa atin ng interpersonal relationship. Factors that affect perception, again, for social factors, it's the view of oneself comes from the compilation of the personal qualities and the impressions of how other people perceive an individual. And these perceptions will always shape an image that we reflect to the social world. So, ano daw yung klase ng image na yon? It is based on the reaction of the people. So, the reaction of the people will always show or will always mirror kung ano nga ba yung dapat and how one person should always behave in a certain situation. Because the way other people perceive you or judge you will already impose a certain societal standard na tinatawag natin. So, let's now go to reflected appraisal. What's reflected appraisal? These are inferences regarding others' appraisal of the person. So, when you say reflected appraisal, this is the time wherein you reflect about the reaction of the people towards you and how you internalize. That's internalize, walang J, sorry. How you internalize and how these appraisals become your self-concept, which guides your future behavior. So, paano daw yon? Uh, since you have learned about the judgment and the perception of other people towards you, so syempre, nagfo-form ka na ng isang self-concept, 'di ba, na tinatawag natin na, okay, so this type of behavior is acceptable in this society, while this behavior is not. So, ganito dapat yung itsura ko kasi ganito yung standard ng society. Hindi ako dapat magsuot ng ganito kasi bawal to doon sa community namin. So, those concepts na napo-form mo will be part of you already and will guide you on how you will react in the future or on how you are going to interact or on how you are going to present yourself in the future. So yun yung reflected appraisal. Pagsasama-samahin mo lahat-lahat ng observation nila, lahat ng reaction nila, and how you process this information inside your brain. While for social comparison naman, social comparison, sabi nila, is not good, but actually it is healthy for as long as you know how to use it properly. So social comparison is a process by which you compare yourself from other people. Uh, in this case, since it's social factor, you compare your abilities and also your opinions. 'di ba? While for social comparison in terms of physical self, syempre you compare yourself with other people. Bakit siya maganda, 'di ba? Bakit sa akin yata hindi bagay yung mga ganitong damit? So there are two types of social comparison. The first one is upward and the second one is downward. So when you say upward, it happens when you compare yourself who are better than uh, you. And this person will always serve as your inspiration. Nagiging motivation mo siya. While on the negative side, you compare yourself with someone who is better than you, so you may experience inferiority. So again, for upward social comparison, there are two sides. You have positive and negative. Yung isa, kapag positive, you compare yourself with other people, and that person become your inspiration. While for the negative upward social comparison, you compare yourself, but it becomes a source of your inferiority, 'di ba? Para mawalan ka ng confidence sa sarili mo. While for downward social comparison naman is the individual compares himself to someone who is worse. So kanina positive yung upward, natutuwa ka or very pleasing yung trait nung pinagkukumparahan mo. While for downward naman, you compare yourself with someone who is in a worse situation than you are or than you have. uh, let's say, uh, the person or the situation can make you feel better kasi mas malala yung sitwasyon niya kaysa sa'yo. Or this person is luckier compared sa'yo, 'di ba? Or on the other hand, it may give rise to the feeling of superiority or arrogance. Okay. Mas magaling ako sa kanya, mas naiintindihan ko yung lesson. So that can be a source naman na, okay, you will become arrogant and you will be, let's say, there will be a development of a certain personality na kung saan you can segregate yourself from the society and you will consider yourself to be always better uh, compared to that person. Next is social identity theory. It's the collective self-identity. So they have the positive social identity, and this positive social identity is being used to connect with the wider social network. So this idea assumes an outgroup. So it enhances your self-esteem because they feel secured with the shield of group membership where they belong. So ano daw yung self-esteem na tinatawag natin? It's the measure of how much you feel value, respected, and you feel confident about yourself. And these social groups shall include gender, ethnicity, religion, profession, political membership, and also business organization. So pag halimbawa, positive yung social representation mo, then you are forming bigger networks, 'di ba? Pero kung halimbawa naman, you are not showing a very positive social identity, then there's a chance for you na ma-eliminate ka doon sa group na yon. So, and that sense of belongingness or elimination will always affect how you develop your self-esteem. Di ba tama naman? Kasi when you cannot identify yourself with a certain group, for example, we are being left out doon sa grupong sinamahan natin. Di ba? Iba yung epekto niya pagdating doon sa value and self-confidence natin. Na parang ano yung kulang, di ba? Ano yung mali sa akin? Bakit hindi nila ako matanggap dito sa grupo na to? Or sabi nga natin, if you're going to apply yung kanina, yung upward and downward, baka posible na gamitin mo yung downward social comparison, meaning, kaya hindi ako natanggap dyan sa grupo na yun kasi mas bobo sila kaysa sa akin, di ba? Na magpo-focus ka dun sa negative para i-boost yung confidence mo. So, that's how social identity theory works. So what's the impact of culture on our body image and self-esteem? And also, what's the importance of beauty? Siyempre, we're talking about physical self. Siyempre, papasok tayo sa societal standard ng beauty. Ano nga daw ba yung beauty in terms of the Filipino culture? And siyempre, sa appreciation na rin natin bilang isang tao. So culture as a social system is characterized by the shared meanings. shared meaning, shared practices, and shared beliefs that are attributed to people and to the events by its members. So for young adolescents, they are forced to adhere to the societal standard of beauty. Lahat naman, di ba? Kasi exposed tayo sa social media, exposed tayo sa internet and also sa television. So, syempre, nagpo-form tayo kung sa isip natin ng ano nga daw ba yung maganda, ano ba yung pangit, 'di ba? Kasi when we say beauty, it's the quality of being physically attractive, and also this talks about the qualities of the person that will give you pleasure to the senses and also to the mind. So when you say beauty, it is pleasurable, pleasing to the eye of the observer. So how important is beauty? Syempre, it's when someone is beautiful, they are favored in the society. They can find jobs easily. And sometimes they are the apple of the eye of every professor, 'di ba? Of every employer. Kasi nga, they are attractive to one's eye. So, they are viewed by others uh, because they tend to be happier, smarter, and also to be the better people. While beauty depends of course on the eye of the beholder, 'di ba? Sometimes yung attractive para sa akin, baka para sa iyo hindi naman yun maganda. So it's important that you also see people in terms of their beauty inside, not just their appearance. Pero sabi ko nga, doon sa gumawa ng PowerPoint na to, we cannot simply look at the beauty inside kasi nga, ang focus ng lesson na to ay physical self. So, syempre, we are talking about the physical beauty, 'di ba? The Filipino concept of beauty. Okay, ano daw 'yan, yung mga pinanggagalingan ng mga konsepto ng ganda sa kultura natin. So, syempre, number one is Eurocentrism. So, for Eurocentrism is defined as a tendency to interpret the world in terms of European or Anglo-American values and experiences. So, ano daw yung Eurocentrism na yan? So, syempre, yung idea daw ng anti-soy at tisay ay maganda, 'di ba? Uh, they are promoted in media, syempre. Especially sa mga television, 'di ba? Sa mga models. So, pag nakikita natin na yung isa maputi, matangos ang ilong, 'di ba? Then for us, that person is beautiful, 'di ba? Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng glutathione, 'di ba? Nagpapa-enhance tayo para makuha natin yung uh, European or American standard of beauty. When you say naman colorism, it's prejudicial or preferential treatment of the same race people based solely on the color of the skin. So, syempre, in our country, so dark-skinned Filipinos tend to have a negative body image. Kasi nga po, medyo nagkakaroon sila ng inferiority kasi sabi nga natin kanina, may Eurocentrism. So, mas tinatanggap natin yung konsepto ng tisoy at tisay. And we fail to acknowledge that our skin is also beautiful, 'di ba? Because the message that society gives is that flat noses and dark complexions do not define beauty. So kapag hindi daw matangos ang ilong mo, 'di ba? Kapag hindi ka maputi, then you are not beautiful. O kapag hindi maayos yung buhok mo, then that does not show the standard of beauty. So Eurocentrism and colorism always have significant effects on the body image and the identities of the Filipino. So, for self-esteem naman and the ideal body image, sabi nga natin kanina, yung self-esteem has something to do with your confidence because it's the universal evidence that the person has of oneself. So, it may be positive or negative, it may be high or low. So, it's how you value yourself and also how you perceive yourself based on your physical appearance. So, the person with low self-esteem may not perceive oneself as beautiful because the evaluation of his physical self will make him seek ways to attain any kind of body that will be at par with society's concept of standard. So, sabi nga natin, kapag mababa ang low self-esteem mo, gagawa at gagawa ka ng paraan para ma-achieve mo yung standard na isinet ng society. So, let's say, hindi matangos ang ilong mo, anong gagawin mo? Siyempre, you are going to undergo rhinoplasty, di ba? O kaya naman, gagamit ka na ng science, di ba? Kasi wala eh, hindi mo matanggap yung beauty na mayroon ka. So, syempre, i-enhance mo. We have body image. Ano naman daw yung body image? So, kung kanina, uh, we talk about self-concept and then we also talk about self-esteem. For body image naman, that's how you look at yourself or how one see oneself and the way he or she imagines how he or she looks. So how they see themselves can either be positive or negative. So pag sinabi natin na body image, 'di ba, class? Body image in terms of the clothes you wear. 'Di ba minsan may mga tao tayong tinitingnan na kapag halimbawa nagsuot sila ng damit, hindi naman bagay sa kanila. 'Di ba? Pero yung body image kasi nila is very positive. Kahit na malaki yung tiyan nila tapos naka-crop top sila, okay lang kasi daw that's how they see themselves. Para sa kanila, bagay yung sinusuot nila na yon. Although, in our observation, 'di ba, hindi naman talaga o medyo masagwan tingnan para sa kanila. So, for adolescents daw, they always have, who have positive body image, they always engage in healthy behavior and also in a health enhancing behavior such as having a balanced diet and also exercising regularly. While for girls, they are less happy with when it comes to their body image compared sa boys. Kasi 'di ba, ang may problema naman talaga pagdating sa body image usually ay yung mga girls mas madalas. Kasi yung mga boys karaniwan, hindi naman sila ganoon ka-conscious pagdating sa katawan nila. But for girls, as they enter puberty, they always check on the development that happens within their body. So, for adolescents with poor body image, they always have negative thoughts and negative feelings about their appearance, which can either be true or not. So, a healthy body image is made up of positive thoughts, feelings, and acceptance of one's body and overall physical appearance. So, ano-ano daw ba yun? Um, when you have a positive body image, madali para sa yung tanggapin yung mga bagay na wala at meron ka. But if you have a negative body image, palaging negative yung thought mo. Parang hirap na hirap kang pumili ng damit. Kasi para sa'yo wala nang bagay. Pero pag naman halimbawa, positive yung body image mo and then you have already exceeded, let's say, yung threshold ng positive body image, sobrang dali naman para sa yung pumili ng damit, 'di ba? Kahit hindi bagay, isusuot at isusuot mo talaga. So for body image, you have the imaginary audience and the spotlight effect. Pag imaginary audience, palagi mong iniisip na merong nakatingin sa'yo, 'di ba? That someone always actively listens and watch over you. While for spotlight effect naman, it's the belief that others are paying more attention to your appearance and behavior than they really are. So, ayan, i-distinguish natin yung imaginary audience at saka yung spotlight effect para mas malinaw tayo. Pag sinabi mong imaginary audience, it's your egocentric state. So, you are imagining that people are always listening and actively watching and conscious about your actions and about how you look. But for spotlight effect, since spotlight siya, ikaw yung sentro. 'Di ba? Yung kanina in general, ay palagi na lang nila akong tinitingnan, ganyan. Palagi na lang nila akong pinapanood, ganyan. Pero wala naman talagang nanonood sa'yo, 'di ba? Wala namang may pake. While for spotlight effect, uh, you are the center of attraction. Feeling mo, ikaw lang yung pinapansin. So, yun yung pinagkaiba nila. Ah, mas kumbaga importante ka kaysa sa ibang tao. Mas binibigyan nila ng atensyon yung appearance mo, yung behavior mo, 'di ba? So it's overestimating the extent to which others notice you and your body, 'di ba? While for checking your body image daw, para malaman mo kung positive or negative yan. So, you try to answer this activity. Okay? Send nyo na lang yung answer sa akin doon sa Google form na ibibigay ko sa inyo. Okay. Or not Google form, sa Google Classroom. Okay. And then at the end of it, of course, you evaluate yourself. Uh, do you have a positive or negative body image? You have to rewrite all these items para alam ko kung ano yung niya yes or no ninyo. So what are the different ways for you to improve your body image? Number one, syempre, is you smile a lot. 'Di ba? Kasi when you smile a lot, everything becomes positive and everything becomes lighter. So you take good care of your health, you live a well-balanced life, and then you dress well, you have to be neat. You dress well and you dress properly. Spend some time alone to reflect. You do self-introspection kasi even though it's Socrates or kahit sa philosophical self pa natin yan pinag-aralan, self-introspection is very important for us. We have to always reflect, 'di ba? Para mas makilala natin yung sarili natin. And also, you have to develop a very wholesome attitude towards sex. You avoid temptation, and then you also have to respect each other. Or that's not respect individually, it's respect individuality class. You correct it. And then, you make friends, face your fears, and then you have to be independent and you have to ask and always listen to other people in terms of the things that you can no longer solve. Siyempre, it's not just ordinary people. You listen to your significant others. You accept things as they are. And also, you have to think positively. You have to learn how to pray and you count your blessings para naman mas ma-appreciate mo yung sarili mo. So, let's go to the lifespan development of Elizabeth Hurlock. You have the germinal, embryonic, and fetal period. So, ito lang yung mga tatandaan nyo sa germinal, embryonic, at fetal period. So, for germinal, it's 2-week period. So, it's the time by which the zygote divide and also the uterus is preparing itself for the formation of the zygote. And then, it's the placenta and the umbilical cord formed during this period. So, syempre, uh, germinal period is the period of cell development. Okay. While for embryonic period, it occurs 2 weeks after the conception, 2 to 8 weeks. Yun yung period niya, natatandaan ninyo. Uh, there is neuron or brain development, 'di ba? And also, it's the time wherein nearly all organs are being present. Nagsa-start na silang mag-develop during embryonic period. While for fetal period, it's 8 weeks to birth. So pag sinabi natin na 8 weeks to birth, that's the time that the baby remains in the uterus. So that sex organs now are developed. Last na nade-develop ang sex organ. Kaya nga hindi ba, kapag nagpapa-ultrasound yung mga parents natin, nagpapa-ultrasound pa lang sila kapag around 7, 8 months na. 8 months na yung bata. Kasi nga, huli mo pa lang yon na makikita. While for the other organs, natatapos na rin siyang mag-develop during fetal period. At syempre, you are gaining about 7 pounds. The fetus is gaining about 7 pounds during this period. So, ibig pong sabihin, it only justifies bakit yung mga bata kapag lumabas sila, hindi ba, it's like 3.5 kilos, 'di ba? O kaya 4 kilos kasi nga po this is the ideal weight ng isang fetus inside the womb of the mother. What are the characteristics of infancy? Siyempre, it's the shortest of all the developmental period. And it's the radical adjustment. And also, it's the plateau of development and also the preview of later development. Bakit preview of later development? Kanina hindi ba, kung makikita ninyo yung mga verb na ginamit, organs, finish developing. So, ibig sabihin, yung infancy, doon pa lang talaga siya fully magkakaroon ng development or the other things na dapat ay nawawala, nalilinis na, nangyayari pa lang yon sa infancy. So, infancy also is a very hazardous period. While for babyhood, ano naman daw yon? It's the true foundation age kasi it's the rapid growth and change. There's also decreasing dependency, increased individuality, and also the beginning of the socialization. So, paano nagkakaroon ng socialization? It starts with the contact with the significant others na muna. While for sex role typing, babyhood is also a very appealing age and also the beginning of creativity. And just like infancy it is very hazardous age. It is crucial. Yun na lang yung term na gamitin natin. So, we have early childhood. Tandaan nyo, itong mga age range na to. Very particular tayo dyan. So, nature versus nature, alam na natin to. We already discussed this doon sa anthropological self. So, dito, when you say nurture, it has something to do with the learning and experiences. While for nature, it has something to do with the inheritance of the traits that we got from our parents. So, theories of the physical self. So first is theory of physiognomy. So physiognomy has something to do with the different physical characteristics na meron tayo. When we say physical characteristics, these are the facial features, the expressions, and also the body structures. So yung mga bagay daw na yon na nakikita natin in terms of the physical aspect of the body ay malaki ang influence pagdating sa character natin bilang isang tao. So we also have 5-element theory. You have the wood, water, fire, earth, and metal. Ano naman daw yon? These are the archetypes daw that occur in the natural world. And each element will always correspond to season, body organs, and behavioral tendencies. So ano-ano daw yon? Yung 5-element theory na yan. So that whatever is happening in terms of your development, ibig sabihin daw, may kinalaman daw yung 5 elements na yon. 'Di ba? So let's say for body major organs, we always attribute it doon sa elements na yon. And also for some behavioral tendencies, 'di ba? May kinalaman daw yung 5 elements na yon. So let's focus on Hippocrates theory of body fluid. So we have sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic, and choleric. So we sanguine body fluid is responsible for making you happy, for making you impulsive. This talks about your positive traits as a person. So kung mas mataas daw to, mas hyper yung isang tao, mas optimistic at mas cheerful yung kanyang personality. While for melancholic, it is the body fluid that's responsible for making you sad, 'di ba? Making you depressed, very pessimistic. Negative yung traits na meron kung mas mataas ang melancholic mo kasi mataas ang anxiety mo. While for choleric naman, this body fluid is responsible for making you angry and temperamental. It makes you ambitious and also goal-oriented, and this is the body fluid being possessed by the natural leaders. Kasi hindi ba they are exposed to different people, therefore yung anger management nila or yung temperament nila, medyo mahirap silang i-control at mas mataas talaga yung chance na mag-flare up sila doon sa isang situation na yon. While for phlegmatic naman, they tend to be sluggish, slow, and dull. So, it makes you lazy, di ba? Pagdating sa mga gawain natin. So, when you become lazy, you become slow, you become dull, di ba? Uh, it's very hard for you to process the emotion and it's also hard for you to balance. 'Di ba? Kung magtatrabaho ka ba, mag-aaral ka ba o hindi, 'di ba? Kasi nga mataas ang phlegmatic body fluid. So for William Sheldon naman, it's the body type theory. So it's endomorphic, mesomorphic, ectomorphic. For ectomorph, they are tall and thin when it comes to their body type. So they are more quiet daw kapag ectomorphic ka. So tama ba to, class? Uh, when you say naman you are mesomorphic, you are very energetic daw. Itong mga mesomorphic na to, ito usually yung isinasali natin sa mga intramurals kasi yung physique nila is just average, hindi mataba, hindi payat. While for ectomorph naman, dito nakuha yung concept ng mga Korean novela or teleserye natin na kapag halimbawa matatangkad, 'di ba? Sila yung mas suplado, mas tahimik, 'di ba? And sila yung may pagka how do you call it? Leading man type, 'di ba? Pero pag dito sa mesomorph, sila yung athletes. Endomorph naman, syempre yung concept ng pagiging happy, easygoing, and very sociable, hindi ba? Kaya nga usually, 'di ba, yung mga teddy bears, 'di ba? Ginagawa silang mas mataba, mas fluffy. Kasi kapag halimbawa mas fluffy yung isang bagay, 'di ba? Or mas plump or mas soft, 'di ba? There's a tendency for us to think na that person is also friendly, 'di ba? Or mas sociable siya. Or mas cheerful na kasama. So what's the wisdom of your face naman? So you identify the facial shape that you have. It's either triangle, square, oval, diamond, heart, and round. So, you base your description na lang doon sa PowerPoint na to. Let me just uh, fix this one first for a while. Di na siya nakikita. Okay, so for oval shape, ang sabi nila, kapag daw oval ang shape ng iyong muka, just wait. Okay, this is self-explanatory kasi actually. So pag oval shape daw, there's a tendency that you are more hospitable, you are more tactful, in that you are perfectionist by nature and you are aggressive. While for those who have heart shape naman, they are very patient and intuitive in nature. For round shape naman, they are friendly, kind-hearted, and selfless. Hindi ba kaya yung mga bida natin sa pelikula, yung korte ng mga mukha nila, example na lang for Miss Judy Ann Santos, hindi ba? Bilogan yung mukha niya kasi very kind-hearted yung aura niya. Very friendly and very selfless. Pero pag naman diamond shape, 'di ba? Sila yung may pagka-antagonistic, 'di ba? May pagka-powerful. So they are very detail-oriented and also they wanted to be in control. While for people naman who have triangle shape, they are very creative, sensitive, and determined. And for square shape, so syempre they are the one who are considered as good leaders and analytical. So, yun lang yun. Usually, yung kapag halimbawa nanonood tayo ng teleserye, people who have heart shape, face, and also round shape, sila karaniwan yung bida. Pero yung mga kontrabida, usually nanggagaling yan sa mga diamond, sa mga square shape, di ba? Kasi medyo matalas. Matalas daw. matalas yung aura nila or yung tabas ng mga mukha nila. For body modification, we have tattooing, makeups, piercing, and cosmetic surgery. Pero syempre, as you modify your body, you have to be futuristic about it. Kailangan alam mo na kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mong maging trabaho someday. And dapat, kailangan, kaya mo nang i-assume na okay, sa trabaho ko ba na to, acceptable ba yung body modification na papagawa ko? Is it presentable ba to other people? And also, syempre, for cosmetic surgery, you have to identify whether that person who will perform such cosmetic surgery will put you at risk or sabihin na natin na uh, is that person competent enough to perform such cosmetic surgery? Kasi baka mamaya, hindi ba, imbis na gumanda yung ilong mo, pumaling yung ilong mo. 'Di ba? It's very risky. Kasi minsan din as we take some pills, let's say whitening lang 'yan or enhancement pills, pwede ding mag-cause ng allergic reaction. Imbis na gumanda ka, baka dumami yung tigyawat mo o kaya dumami yung butlig-butlig mo. So, syempre, for makeups naman, kailangan i-tono din natin, 'di ba? Sa okasyon. Hindi yung halimbawa, daytime yung makeup mo, tapos nag-aaral ka dun sa university natin, 'di ba, na napakalamig. Tapos yung makeup mo heavy, 'di ba? Makapal. So, imbes na gumanda ka, baka lalo kang pumangit. So, what are the problems associated with the physical self? So, syempre, meron tayong bulimia nervosa. Bulimia nervosa is binge eating. Kakain ng sobrang dami. And then, pag kumain siya, nawawala na siya ng sense of control. That's the time that the person will purge. Okay, iba-vomit niya. Kasi, bakit niya ginagawa yon? Syempre, there's a feeling na gusto niyang i-consume yung mga food na yon. However, there's a fear of what? Gaining weight. Kaya, ang ending niya is kailangan isuka niya. Yun yung distinguishable characteristic ng bulimia from anorexia. From anorexia naman, there's the intense fear of gaining weight. So, hindi siya kakain ng maayos or hindi totally kakain para hindi mag-gain ng weight. Si bulimia, kakain ng kakain pero susuka siya. For binge eating naman, ito walang suka-suka to. So, kakain lang talaga siya kung gaano kadami yung gusto niya hanggang yung mismong katawan niya yung sumuko sa pagkain. While for obesity, it's the complex disease involving an excessive amount of body fat. Obesity isn't just a cosmetic concern. So, paano daw yon? Uh, since it is possibly connected to binge eating, kasi nga syempre, uncontrolled na po yung pagkain ng isang tao. Well, syempre, it will always be manifested doon sa body ng tao. So, pag sinabi nating obese, yung timbang niya talaga is sobrang taas na. 'Di ba? And why is it not just a cosmetic concern? Kasi nga po, obesity is also a concern when it comes to health. Kasi possible na dahil nga sobrang dami niya ng taba sa katawan, affected na yung ibang organs niya. 'Di ba? And also yung mga, let's say, yung tinetest nila sa blood or yung mga how do you call it? Yung mga enzymes nila sa body are also being affected kapag halimbawa obese na yung tao. So, and the last one is body dysmorphic disorder. Ano daw yung body dysmorphic disorder? So, it's when you can stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your body. So, body dysmorphic disorder, katulad nga nung sabi ko kanina, yung usual na nagkakaroon ng problem pagdating sa body image nila, yun yung mga girls over sa boys. Bakit? Kasi nga po, mas madalas nating makita yung mga flaws and defects natin pagdating sa appearance. And also, syempre, pag halimbawa, kahit na may mga minor effects lang yon, 'di ba? or minor defects lang or flaws lang. Kapag halimbawa, 'di ba, nagkaroon pa ng judgment or judgment from other people, mas tumataas yung body dysmorphia natin kasi mas nakikita natin na may pangit doon sa katawan natin compared doon sa existing naman talaga na flaws doon sa katawan ng isang tao. So, we will elaborate on this as we meet on our online meeting pa. I guess online pa siguro tayo for this week. So para after watching this video, if there are questions that you have to or you want to raise, you may still raise it. But of course, I will not be ending this lesson nang hindi mo gagawin yung activity mo. So just a recap, I ask you to answer the body image questionnaire located in the middle part of this discussion. And then, syempre, you have to personalize the activity on physical self. You have to identify first your body type. Ectomorph ka ba, mesomorph ka ba, or endomorph ka ba. And you check also if the description provided below will match your trait. Kasi hindi ba minsan, hindi naman siya nagmamatch doon sa personality ng isang tao. Also, you identify your facial shape. So, you identify if it's oval, round, triangle, heart, diamond, and square. And you also identify as to whether yung description din na pinoprovide dito sa slide natin ay nagmamatch doon sa personality mo. Aside from that, you also identify the body fluid that is present on you most of the time. Diba? Is it sanguine, melancholic, or phlegmatic, or choleric? So, yun yung apat na activities ninyo under the physical cells. I'll be sending the I'll be posting this doon sa Google Classroom natin para meron kayong access kung papaano ninyo isa-send yung mga answers ninyo sa lahat ng mga video lessons na pinapanood ko. So again, if you have any question, we will meet next meeting, you raise it. Okay? So by the way, class, as you present your answers on the body fluid, facial shape, body type, you have to provide a picture for me to verify kung tama ba yung pag-identify ninyo doon sa sarili ninyo. Well, preferably, it must be whole body picture. Okay? Whole body but decent picture. Okay? So, hindi ko po ipopost yung instruction nito sa Google Classroom para po magawa nyo siya at panoorin nyo yung video na ito. Okay? So, with this, have a great day, everyone.